Okay, you're all set to begin.
Okay. Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and
and
to the republic
for
which it
which
stands,
it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty
and
and justice for all.
Okay, Trustee Cheney,
Here.
Trustee Lindbergh,
Here.
Mayor Newhart,
Here.
Trustee Bachman,
Here.
Trustee McManus,
I'm here.
Mike Mosier,
Here.
Stephen Gaba,
Village Board meeting of December 6, 2021, pursuant to Chapter 417 of the laws of 2021, permitting local governments to hold meetings remotely and to take such actions authorized by law without allowing the public to be physically present at the meetings due to safety concerns related to the Delta variant of COVID-19. The Village of Warwick Village Board meetings will be conducted virtually through Zoom video conference until further notice or until the expiration of the law on January 15, 2022. To view the meeting, the public may view the meeting live on the Village of Warwick, New York's YouTube channel. And also the public may view the meeting a day or so after its completion by going to the village's website, villageofwarwick.org. To comment during privilege of the floor, comments may be sent to the Village Board prior to the Village Board meeting via email to clerk@villageofwarwick.org or via mail, Village of Warwick, attention Village Clerk, Post Office Box 369, Warwick, New York 10990. Please indicate in your correspondence that you wish to have your comments read during privilege of the floor. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you. So tonight we are beginning with a public hearing, and Raina, if you could read the public notice. Thank you.
please take notice that the Village Board of the Village of Warwick will hold a public hearing on December 20th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. on the application of St. Anthony Hospital for grant of a special use permit pursuant to Village Code Section 145-161 for maintenance of hospital buildings and construction of new hospital buildings at 15 Maple Avenue, Warwick, New York. Pursuant to Chapter 417 of New York State Laws of 2021, the said meeting will be conducted in the following manner. Members of the Village Board will attend the meeting via Zoom video or teleconference. The public hearing may be viewed live on the Village of Warwick, New York YouTube channel. Interested parties may submit comments to be received by 4 p.m. on December 20th, 2021 via mail, attention Village Clerk, 77 Main Street, Warwick, New York, 10990, or via email clerk@villageofwarwick.org. Comments may also be made via YouTube during the public hearing by going to the Village of Warwick, New York YouTube channel. No in-person attendance is available or permitted for the meeting. Public comment will be permitted. There is no physical meeting location, but for the purpose of compliance with the applicable law, the location of the meeting shall be deemed to be conducted at Village Hall, 77 Main Street, Warwick, New York, 10990.
Thank you, Raina. And have we received any public notice, or anybody would like to speak, or have you received any correspondence?
No, I have not.
Okay. Dan, would you like to say anything to the board before we close the public hearing? You're on mute. Dan, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. No, right now it's just a 3,500 square foot radiology addition, 2,700 square foot OR, and we've been through what we're doing with the project. And unless you guys have specific questions I could answer, I'm good with everything.
Board members?
Just for clarification, if our attorney could just explain, exactly what this special permit would cover. Is it just what's proposed in these two additions, or does it go beyond that?
Should I answer now, or?
Yeah, yes, please.
So St. Anthony obviously has, St. Anthony Hospital obviously has been in the village for many years. And I believe it predates the requirement of getting a special use permit. They did come back, Dan, was it in the 80s or the 90s? They got a special permit. And in any event, it was limited for 3 years and it expired. So as things stand right now, there is no special use permit for St. Anthony Hospital as it exists. St. Anthony has come in. They want to build these 2 additional buildings, I believe some minor parking improvements. They've asked initially for a special permit just for those additions. But when the record showed that there was no special permit in existence for the rest of the building, they amended the application to include everything that's there, plus these additional improvements. And that is what the application is for. We had discussed the possibility of expanding special permit to extend to perhaps minor additions so they wouldn't have to come back for a special permit every time. But the secret review that was conducted by the planning board only extended to what's there now, plus the additional improvements they're proposing. So you really can't go beyond that in terms of granting the special permit. So the special permit, when approved, if approved, will cover everything that's there now, plus the proposed addition. But anything else that they might want to put on the lot, they'll have to come back, not only for amended site plan, but for an amended special permit as well.
Very good. Any questions from the board? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Dan, thank you for being here and speaking to the board. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. May I have a motion to accept the following reports: November 2021, the Clerk's Office, Justice Department, Department of Public Works, Treasurer's Office, Credit Card Account Transaction Detail, and Building Department.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And a motion to accept the minutes of December 6, 2021.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And a motion for authorization to pay all approved and audited claims in the amount of $181,627.75.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There is no police report this evening. And I have a couple of announcements to make. The first one is very serious, and it was sent out as a public service announcement earlier, late last week. And it was based on a letter that came from the Orange County Department of Health. New York State Governor has announced a mask mandate, which requires masks are to be worn by all people over the age of 2 who can medically tolerate them in all indoor public spaces, unless business or venues implement a proof of vaccine requirement. This is a major action to address the winter surge of COVID-19 and the Delta and Omicron variant spread, which is spreading more widely. The Village of Warwick has been part of a county program that collects wastewater samples entering our treatment plant since early September and have them analyzed for this SARS-CoV-2 virus. Sewage COVID-19 surveillance can be a leading indicator of changes in the community. Early detection and notification, even prior to symptoms develop, provide us with the opportunity to prevent further spread of COVID-19. Substantial increases in disease transmission becomes apparent approximately 1 to 1.5 weeks after correlating wastewater testing. Based on current information, there has been an increased presence of SARS-CoV-2 and COV-2 metrics in the month of December in our wastewater testing. Beyond the statewide mask mandate and due to the high transmission rate in Orange County, the following public health measures are strongly recommended by the Orange County Department of Health and the Village of Warwick at this time. Universal mask for all persons over the age of 2 who are medically able to tolerate it regardless of vaccination status. Vaccination of all those eligible as soon as possible. Limitations of mass indoor gatherings. Evaluation of capacity for in-person social events with recommendations of mask wearing and social distancing. We will continue to work with Orange County Department of Health and the New York State CDC in keeping you informed on any changes. For now, the best preventative measures we can all take is to follow the above recommendations. So that's these recommendations went out to our local businesses and our churches, where any place that we felt that people congregate. Of course, it was on our website, our Facebook page, as well as the chambers. And I think that it's a very important message. And I know the business community has taken it seriously. It's a very difficult time of year to have that imposed, but I think that the business community truly understands, the relevance of doing this and really asking people to maintain a certain propriety and responsibility. So, but on the tail of that, I want to also announce something probably more happy, and that is the Christmas Eve sing-along, which is normally inside the Old School Baptist Meeting House, will be taking place this year. It was virtual last year, but this year it will be in person, and it will be outside the Old School Baptist Meeting House on the front lawn. And it's at 5 p.m. on December 24th. It's a much loved event. And so I'm hoping that our community can join us. It is sponsored by the village, and we feel that by having it outdoors, we can spread the love and spread ourselves out so that we're socially distanced and we can sing. So that's a great thing. And also, I want to announce that Apple Eve, which is December 31st at 11:30 p.m. At Railroad Green, will be happening as well in a much more streamlined fashion. Basically, it will be a countdown. And so we're again asking people to spread out and to socially distance themselves, to wear masks, and to have some fun and to bring in the new year. So those are the two announcements beyond the COVID message. So we now have privilege of the floor. Is there anyone that would like to speak to the board? Or do you want to enter, do you want to bring in Mr. Unger and his counsel? Gentlemen, we are about to go forward with our motions this evening, but we are now in privilege of the floor. And if you would like to speak to the board at this moment, you surely may. Otherwise, we'll move forward with the motion. And you're both muted, or at least Mr. Unger is muted.
No, this is Dan Hubble of Whiteman, Osterman, and I represent the client. We just wanted to be available to the extent that the board had any questions with regard to the documents that we're asking you to approve this evening. I'm sure Mr. Gaba has fully informed you of what's going on, of what's before you.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. And Steve, do you want to say anything to the board before we move forward?
I think it's pretty clearly spelled out in the approval resolution, but just to cover it one last time, make sure there's no confusion. There are 5 documents that are being offered, instruments that are being offered for dedication. The first is a 50-foot wide easement over Sheffield Drive. The second is a deed to the easement area. The third is a clearing easement for site distance at the intersection of Sheffield and Brady Road. The fourth is a stormwater facilities management and easement agreement. And the fifth is a blanket easement over the Warwick Commons property. That in general is for installation of utilities, should the village need to do that. What the board will be doing this evening is accepting the offers of dedication on all of them. It will be accepting dedication. Keep in mind, there's a difference between the offer of dedication and accepting the document itself. On all of them except for the deed to the roadway. Okay, the deed to the roadway you're not going to take until the roadway is completed. I understand there's a bit of work left to be done on the roadway. And indeed, you're not obligated to take it at all if the village decides for whatever reason that it doesn't want to. So the offer of dedication on the road will actually be filed with the county clerk. The other offers of dedication, we're not going to bother filing with the county clerk because you're actually accepting those, the easements, stormwater facilities management agreement, et cetera, right now. And those documents will be ready to be filed with the county clerk immediately. So that's what you're doing this evening. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But it's, again, pretty much all spelled out in the approval resolution.
Thank you, Steve. Board, do you have any questions for our council? Very good. So we'll move forward with motions. And Trustee Cheney, you're on.
Number 1, resolution granting approval of the Warwick Commons offers of dedication. Whereas Warwick Commons Stage 5 LLC, hereinafter Warwick Commons, has been granted amended site plan approval for the Village Planning Board by resolution dated April 29th, 2021. And whereas pursuant to the terms of the said site plan approval, Warwick Commons has submitted offers of dedication to the village of 1 50-foot wide general municipal purposes easement over Sheffield Drive, 2 a deed for the 50-foot area encompassed by the said Sheffield Drive easement for purpose of a future village street, 3 a clearing easement for site distance area at intersection of Sheffield Drive and Brady Road, 4 a stormwater facilities management and easement agreement, and 5 a blanket easement. And whereas the said documents have been reviewed by the village attorney and the village engineering consultant and found to be acceptable in form and substance, whereas Sheffield Drive is not completed and is in need of further improvements by Warwick Commons Stage 5 LLC before dedication of it can be accepted. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, that the village board hereby accepts dedication of the 50-foot wide general municipal purposes easement over Sheffield Drive, the clearing easement for site distance area at intersection of Sheffield Drive and Brady Road, the stormwater facilities management and easement agreement, and the blanket easement. And 2, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute the 50-foot wide general municipal purposes easement over Sheffield Drive, the clearing easement for site distance area at intersection of Sheffield Drive and Brady Road, the stormwater facilities management and easement agreement, and the blanket easement, along with any and all documents necessary for recording of the same, and to have the said documents recorded in the office of the Orange County Clerk. And 3, that the village board hereby accepts the offer of dedication for the deed for the 50-foot area encompassed by the said Sheffield Drive easement for purpose of a future village street, but does not yet accept the dedication of the said roadway. And 4, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary for recording of the offer of dedication of the said roadway in the office of the Orange County Clerk, and to hold the deed and the documents necessary for recording of it until such time, if ever, as the village board determines to accept dedication of the said roadway. And 5, the acceptance of the offers of dedication herein is conditional upon payment of all outstanding consultants' fees.
Second.
And Raina, that's a roll call vote.
Trustee Cheney,
I have a
Yes,
question first, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I had to get to my mute button.
Okay.
Why are there outstanding consultant fees? Why are there outstanding consulting fees?
I'm here this evening, George, and we haven't billed for my time yet. I don't know if Dave Getz has all of his time in for reviewing the descriptions, which just came in fairly recently. They may be billed next month. There's an escrow that the applicant has established that those fees will be paid out of.
This says conditional upon payment of all fees. So I understand there's an escrow, but no, go ahead. You're going to do it your way. Go ahead. I'm just going to say no because there's conditions to it. I don't do conditional. You know that. When they pay the fees, we vote. Simple. If there's no questions tonight, you can bill us and then they can come back next month or next year and get their approvals when the bills are paid.
I don't think that would work, George.
I don't think we should approve anything where people owe us money for what we're going to do.
Steve,
Never have, never will.
Steve, you went mute on us. So what were you saying?
I was trying to say that I don't think that would work because part of the fees they have to pay is the board's legal fees, if nothing else. And on the night you vote, there's always going to be an attorney sitting there advising you, and they can't possibly pay that yet because it hasn't been billed yet. So, you know, it's a chicken and egg thing. I don't see how they could possibly pay all.
Are all the bills for you paid up until except for tonight?
I don't know that. I don't know one way or the other.
Okay, move on.
I mean,
Okay.
again, I just want to reiterate that my understanding is that there is an escrow that's established. There are funds in that escrow.
You
And
understand that. I have never have, and I never will vote for something that has conditions to it. So you can have your escrow, but I never have, and again, I never will vote for something when it's a condition that somebody has to pay us for something that we're doing yet. When all bills are paid is when I vote. I mean, when I vote positively. Tonight, I'm going to vote negatively because you owe us money and I'm just not approving it. It's my own personal being, and that's the way I have always been, and that's the way I always will be. So your escrow really doesn't come into play in my mind. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, George, and thank you, Dan and Stephen. So we have a second, and a roll call vote.
Trustee Cheney,
yes,
Trustee Lindberg,
Yes.
Trustee McManus,
No,
Trustee Bachman,
Yes.
Mayor Newhart.
Yes. The next motion, Barry.
Number 2, motion to set the amount of the maintenance undertaking for the stormwater control facility maintenance agreement on Kennedy Apartments, Forester Avenue, Warwick, New York, in the amount of $14,000 to be posted by letter of credit drawn upon an accredited lending institution in form acceptable to the village attorney.
Second. Barry, could you
Stephen.
just give us kind of an explanation of this?
Sure. The applicant or the contract or the owner for the Kennedy Apartments, as part of their site plan, has to construct on-site stormwater control facilities. And those stormwater control facilities will need required maintenance on annual, semi-annual basis, according to the plan or program for that. And they're underground tanks that hold the water back. And because they connect to the village's system, we want to make sure that they are in operating order. So there are requirements for them to have an engineering inspection, and in addition to that, do any mitigation or maintenance that's necessary that comes out as a part of that inspection. So this posting of the letter of credit would be something that the village could draw on should the applicant fail in their duties and responsibilities relative to maintenance of the stormwater system.
Does there always have to be $14,000 in the account, or is it a yearly?
Yes, the $14,000 stays as an irrevocable letter of credit.
Okay.
That, unless it's drawn on, would, unless it's drawn down, would not have to be replenished. If the owner maintains the system in a manner that's satisfactory to the village, then we'd never draw on it, and we'd have a system that's functioning in a proper manner so as it protects the village's system downstream.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Barry or our council? So we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 3, motion to approve payment number 7 in the amount of $20,662.50 to TAM Enterprises, Inc. for the vertical spiral screen project at the Orchard Street Pump Station for work regarding new hatches, grading, and roofing for the project. As per the recommendation of village engineer David Getz, funds are appropriated in budget code G.8120.4950 in the fiscal year 2021-22 budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to advertise and receive bids to furnish materials and labor for construction of the Hilltop Pump Station generator. Funds are appropriated in budget code F.8320.2 in the 2021-2022 budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to authorize the mayor to execute the 2022 DOT and non-DOT service agreements with Partners in Safety to administer random drug and alcohol testing for village employees at a cost of $45.50 per employee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 6, motion to return the zoning board of appeals escrow balance of $1,090 to Gordon and Sevenson LLP for the appeal of the Village of Warwick building inspector's determination of 16 Elm Street. All invoices have been paid as per the email from village attorney Robert Fink.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Number 7, motion to amend the contract dated November 20th, 2017 between the Village of Warwick and Barton and LaJudas DPC for engineering services for the wastewater treatment plant ultraviolet disinfection improvements project to provide additional construction administrative services and construction observation services at a cost not to exceed $14,800 per Barton and LaJudas's proposal dated December 16th, 2021, and authorize the mayor to sign the same.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to hire Corey DeLucia and Savannah DeLucia to the 4-year 2021-22 special event staff at a rate of $15 per hour for the Christmas Eve service and the Easter egg hunt per the recommendation of the Village of Warwick Recreation Director Ron Interini.
Do I have a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the budget modification request as per the village treasurer's memo dated December 14th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion to approve the budget transfer request as per the village treasurer's memo dated December 3rd, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution introducing proposed local law to amend Village Code Chapters 39, 90, and A150, and to enact a new chapter 39A regarding facility use and park regulations and permits. Whereas the Village Board of the Village of Warwick has before it a proposed local law entitled "A Local Law to Amend Village Code Chapters 39 and 90 and A150 regarding village parks and facility use permits, and to enact a new chapter 39A regarding assemblies. And whereas in order to consider adoption of the proposed local law, it is necessary to first introduce and hold a public hearing upon it. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the moment of this resolution does hereby introduce the attached proposed local law. And two, that a public hearing on said local law is hereby set for January 18th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. Number three, that the village clerk shall publish and post notice of the public hearing.
Second.
I have one question for our attorney. In chapter 90, section 490-4, under number 9, it has to deal with smoking and tobacco use and where it's prohibited or banned. And in the third line, it states an exception, meaning except for stating it as except for private property. And then following that, there are a number of other areas. And are those areas accepted as well? Or are those areas, or does that accepted for private property just include within 24 feet of a public park?
Barry, I'm sorry, I don't have the text in front of me. Could you just read a little bit of it?
Okay, it says smoking, tobacco use, cannabis use, electronic cigarettes, and vapor products shall be banned in all public parks and all property within 24 feet of a public park, except for private property, comma, the sidewalks immediately adjoining any parks, any pedestrian route through any park, public parking lots, and any other village-sponsored outdoor gathering of people.
It sounds like you can smoke in those spots. The private property makes sense. You can't very well ban
Right.
smoking on private property, but sidewalks and the rest of it, that should not be.
Well, I think that maybe the exception applies only to all property within 24 feet of a public park, except for private property. So if you have private property that adjoins a public park, you're accepted from
Exactly.
the
with the 24
regulation.
Foot, the 24 foot, but the rest of the listings after that, I don't understand. I got to tell you, I'm not quite certain why that's there.
I would think it needs to be prohibited or banned in those areas, and maybe the sentence just needs to be restructured a little bit, or put in brackets, except for private property after the all property within 24 feet of a public park.
I think that would be the intent, but if you're going to make that kind of a modification, I'd suggest you table introducing it tonight. There's another meeting Monday, I believe, and we can introduce it then. It's at the public hearing. We'll modify the language before then.
It just, I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling I can read it either of two ways, and so I think it needs to be clear. I mean, if the other trustees and the mayor don't feel that,
I read it the other way.
interpretations.
Yeah, I read it the other way, Barry. I think the only change really made was the cannabis.
Right.
Addition.
But is it banned on sidewalks immediately adjoining any parks?
That's the intent.
Yep, I agree, but I know that's the way I want to see it, but it seemed to me that you could read it either of two ways.
Okay. Well, then I would agree. I would request Mr. Gaba to rewrite the language so it's perfectly clear, and take it up on Monday or the 27th.
If you introduce the local law and set a public hearing on it, and then you have to substantially change the language, you're gonna have to hold another public hearing. So I think you really want to have this the way you want it before you schedule the public hearing.
So we should table this then.
Should have a motion to table and then
Yeah.
second and so forth.
Before we do that, though, there's a couple of things. I just, in the skateboard regulations, there is a sort of a chapter that says skateboards may not. I believe it should read, the following is prohibited, because it then goes on to ride, operate, or use any device other than rollerblades, skateboards, scooters, or BMX bikes, ride or operate devices unless that person is wearing an approved helmet, et cetera, et cetera. So just the language is awkward. Skateboards may not. Skateboard doesn't really have any decision in that. And then the other thing I was a little concerned about was under the responsibilities for supervision and parking, which is towards the end.
150-7.
Yes, 150-7. Parking must be limited to designated parking lots only. Parking is prohibited in non-designated parking areas. Yet there are certain situations such as the carnival and some conversations that we've had recently where we may need to use those undesignated grass areas as overflow parking or necessary parking. And so I would think that that should be restructured so that we have the ability to allow that to happen with board approval.
We can add language, yeah, exactly, unless specifically waived by resolution of the village board, something along those lines.
Okay.
Okay, good changes.
Anybody else before we table the motion and rewrite it? May I have a motion to table this motion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next motion. That's Corey.
Make a motion to grant permission to the Warwick Valley Chamber of Commerce to hold a holiday market for Easter in the South Street parking lot on Sunday, April 10th, 2022, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. All activities must be in accordance with the New York State and Orange County Departments of Health. Completed facility use permit, proof of proper insurance, and security deposit have been received.
Second.
Second discussion. Is it basically a farmer's market Sunday, this Easter holiday market? Is it going to be run by the group that runs the farmer's market, or is this something that's going to be somewhat or significantly different from that and run by someone else?
No, it will be run by obviously this is a letter coming from the Chamber of Commerce. They're the kind of umbrella co-sponsor of the farmer's market. And it will be the farmer's market. I mean, right now, I believe last Sunday, they held a special holiday market in Kukin parking lot. And so normally the market begins in May. And so they're trying to take advantage of the Easter holiday.
Yeah. Good idea. Thanks for the explanation.
Sure. So we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to grant permission to the Warwick Valley Chamber of Commerce to hold the Warwick Valley Farmers Market in the South Street parking lot on Sundays from May 8th, 2022 through November 20th, 2022 from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., except for Apple Fest Sunday. All activities must be in accordance with the New York State and Orange County Departments of Health. Completed facility use permit, proof of proper insurance, and security deposit have been received.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to close Bank Street for the benefit of the Warwick Valley Farmers Market on Sunday, April 10th, 2022, and Sundays from May 8th, 2022 through November 20th, 2022 from 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m.
Second.
I just want to mention that obviously right now where Bank Street is closed, but the plan is that it will be reopened in early spring, maybe even late winter if the weather allows it, for the new bridge to be built. So last year we did not make this motion, but this year I think we must. So so we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion resolution granting special use permit for St. Anthony Hospital. Whereas St. Anthony Hospital owns certain real property located at 15 Maple Avenue, Warwick, New York, improved with a hospital building and related structures and improvements. And whereas St. Anthony Hospital has applied to the Village Planning Board for amended site plan approval for the construction of a 2,700 square foot building for radiology to replace the two large trailers where they currently conduct MRIs, etc., located on Van Duzer Street, and construction of a 3,500 square foot OR building along Maple Street, Maple Street, and along part of Grand Street, as well as related site improvements. And whereas the Planning Board, as lead agency in secret review of the project, has adopted a negative declaration, and whereas the proposed new construction requires grant of a special use permit from the Village Board pursuant to Village Code Section 145-161, and whereas it appears that a special use permit for the overall existing development of St. Anthony Hospital either never was granted or has lapsed, and whereas St. Anthony Hospital has applied to the Village Board for a special use permit pursuant to Village Code Section 145-161, approving both the overall existing development of St. Anthony Hospital and the two new buildings. And whereas the Village Board has held a public hearing on the application for a special use permit. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, that the Village Board does hereby make the following findings pursuant to Village Code Section 145-120. A, the proposed use and development of St. Anthony Hospital is of such location, size, and character that it will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the neighborhood in which it is situated and will not be detrimental to adjacent properties. St. Anthony Hospital has been on the subject property for many years and is an integral part of the neighborhood and the village. The proposed additional buildings will enhance the hospital property. B, the proposed use and development of the property does not pose any undue hazards to pedestrian and vehicular traffic. The negative declaration under secret confirms the Village Board's finding on this point. C, the location and height of buildings and proposed buildings on the property are not of such nature, size, appearance, or location that they will hinder or discourage use or development of other properties in the neighborhood or the district. Again, the hospital has been a fixture in the neighborhood and the village for many years. D, the proposed development will not result in a need for additional public facilities or services or create such fiscal burdens upon the village greater than those which characterize uses permitted by right under applicable zoning. 2, that the Village Board hereby grants the requested special use permit.
Second.
Second.
And good job, Corey. That was
Water.
okay. And any questions or comments? Raina, if you would move forward with the roll call.
Trustee Cheney,
Yes.
trustee Lindberg,
Yes.
trustee Bachman,
Yes.
Trustee McManus,
Yes.
Mayor Newhart,
Yes.
Rainer, I know there was a new date on number 16. Can you give me the correction?
the correction should read through December 31st, 2025. So the paper motion that was in your box is correct.
Says 25. Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Corey,
Make a motion to appoint Aileen Astorino as the Registrar of Vital Statistics for the Village of Warwick with a 4-year term from January 1, 2022 through December 31st, 2025.
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to appoint Carolyn Purder as a Deputy Registrar for Vital Statistics for the Village of Warwick with a 4-year term from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to create the position of a part-time billing control clerk and authorize the mayor to sign Form MSD-222 in accordance with Orange County Civil Service requirements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion to advertise for the position of part-time billing control clerk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor, I just have one motion to it addresses Apple Eve.
Yes, please.
Make a motion to close Railroad Avenue for the benefit of the Village of Warwick's Apple Eve event on Friday, December 31st, 2021, from 9 p.m. to Saturday, January 1st, 2022 at 12:30 a.m. Village of Warwick DPW to place no parking bags on the meters beginning at 7 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll move on to reports. Barry, Trustee Cheney, do you have a report for us tonight?
Yes, I'd just like to follow up on a report that I made at the previous meeting, and that was that the Orange County Health Department did do its annual water system inspection on Monday, December 13th. I feel the inspection went well. No issues, no major issues were raised, and we should be receiving a letter in about 4 to 6 weeks from the County Health Department summarizing that visit.
Thank you. And Trustee Lindbergh?
As discussed, just encourage everybody to come out the last day of the year to the Apple Eve, which started with the sesquicentennial year in 2017. If possible, the ladder truck from Warwick will be there, and we'll count down together and bring your pots and pans.
Well, are we cooking? Very good, thank you. And Corey, Trustee Bachman?
Nothing for tonight.
Okay, thank you. And George?
No, we're good tonight.
Okay. I just have a couple things. First, I wanted to congratulate the Warwick Valley Veterans of Foreign War Post 4662 on the opening of their new Veterans and First Responders Center. And that is at Pin Street Bowling Alley on Route 94. They had a wonderful opening last Friday, and I think it's great that there is a home and a place where veterans and first responders can go and get vital information. It's obviously connected with our county veterans office and of course the state office as well, but it's great to have that locally. And tonight I would like to announce my candidacy for re-election. I've been honored to serve our community for over 20 years, and we have seen a lot, and we've grown and we've been challenged, and we have faced some amazing things, and we've done some amazing things. I think the proof is in our strength, our resilience, and our community. It is one of the most beautiful villages in the Hudson Valley, if not the state. And but more than beauty, it has this incredible soul and this incredible yearning to do the right thing. And I'm grateful to be part of that. And so that is why I decided to run for another term. And also on behalf of the village board, I would like to wish all our Christian friends and families a very Merry Christmas, and all our friends a very happy and healthy New Year. So we do have to go short into executive session. We will not return and do any business. So I will read the proposed acquisition we are going into executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition of securities, or sale or exchange of securities held by such public body, but only when publicly could substantially affect the value thereof, and also to seek the confidential advice of counsel.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen, and we'll see you in a minute.